Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Dr. Jordan Shockley. He's an Associate Extension Professor at the University of Kentucky with the Department of Agriculture Economics. We've gotten a lot of calls at the Extension office about woodland carbon programs, and I know you're our carbon expert for the state. And so I was hoping that maybe you could maybe walk us through what those programs are.
Yeah, definitely. So you've probably seen some new programs pop up, especially on social media. It's where I've seen a lot on Facebook ads, because one recently launched here in the state. That would be the Family Forest Carbon Program. And there are also two others available for Kentucky woodland owners. That would be the Core Carbon Program and Forest Carbon Works. So there are actually three carbon programs that are available to Kentucky woodland owners right now. First off is, are you eligible, right? If you're interested in, there are minimum land acre requirements. Most of them are in that 30 to 40 acre range that is required. The other one really is how long do you want to be in a contract? These contracts, unlike some of the others we see on the row crop and livestock side, these are extremely long-term contracts. 20 years is the shortest, up to 100-year contracts. And so this is a long-term investment. So what do you want to do with your land? Is that part of your long-term strategy? Something you really need to think about. Land, who's going to own it? Are you going to sell it? Do you want to harvest it for timber? These contracts are actually tied to the land as an easement on the property. So even if you sell your property, the buyer has to be aware of this because they will be inheriting a carbon contract.
What are the requirements once we're eligible?
Yes, so most of them do require a forest management plan in place where you work with a local forester to establish some sort of sustainable management, right? And so my colleague, Dr. Jacob Muller, is an expert in all of these management plans and sustainable forage management. And so when we look at these plans, is that something you want to be tied to a forester and provide that guidance? And do you have that availability of that support service available? We have to remember, be careful on too good to be true on the payment side of things, right? Some may hear $230 an acre, right? For your forest land. Well, that's actually over the life of the contract. And they pay out in a percentage. So you may only get 5% in year one, and it's spread out across the length of the contract. For example, Forest Carbon Works just has a set $10 per acre payment every year, right? So is that too good to be true versus the what you're hearing on 230, right? That seems like a lot, but once you dig into the details, those payments are actually spread out over time. And so you really have to weigh, the time value of money on how
Mhm.
much you can get over the length of the contract versus, okay, if I harvest that timber today, what's that worth?
What's the goal of all three of these programs?
It's sustainable forest management. Some of them will say that it is not around carbon credits and selling carbon credits, but in the grand scheme of things, they are selling carbon credits. And so, yes, we don't want clear cutting or, it is preserving forest stands. And so that's one of the things you got to think about is a lot of these companies are backed by other corporations, industries like the oil companies out there. So just be aware of what you're getting into.
So before signing any contract, they probably need to read all the fine print, maybe even get some forestry or legal advice before entering into such a long-term contract.
Absolutely. That's my number one recommendation before entering. I don't care what type of carbon contract it is, seek legal counsel because the devil's in the details, and the details are definitely in the appendix. And who often reads the appendix of these contracts?
If clients are out there and they have more questions, who should they contact?
They can contact me directly at my phone number here at the office or via email, or my colleague, Dr. Jacob Muller in the Department of Forestry.
Thanks for watching and have a great day.